head of the Centre for Civil Liberties, Ukraine. Can I just ask you a very good morning to you, and by the way, happy Easter Sunday. What did you make of President Zelensky's comments?
Yesterday Zelensky told a lot of different messages, but I would like to emphasize to particular one of his message. He mentioned about blockade of Mariupol and necessity to open humanitarian corridor from Mariupol. And because we all in despair how to make it happen and how to save more than 100,000 of civilians from city, he applied to the Pope. Maybe according to Easter and all this celebration, the Pope can help us to open this humanitarian corridor and to provide a safe evacuation civilians from the city.
Why do you think it is so difficult to, I mean, ordinarily you would expect this sort of thing to, it's never easy, but it would happen. And with 100,000 people, we think, still in Mariupol, there is desperate need there. Why is Russia so reluctant?
It's because Russia uses war crimes as a deliberate methods of warfare. It's a military logic. First, they liquidate the civil infrastructure and deprive people from the water, electricity, heating. Then they isolate the city and don't provide opportunity to humanitarian assistance to reach the city and to people to evacuate. It's all done in order to stop resistance of locals, because it's very hard to resist and to defend the city when you have enormous pain among civilians, when you have children, when you have injured people, and when you have to take care about them. So that's why Russia uses this like a method how to siege city and how to quickly occupy the city.
It must be so distressing for you, especially on a day like today, to still be talking of war, to still be asking for weapons and more support from other countries, when normally Easter Sunday in the Ukraine is a very joyful day. Do you think many people will be able to get on with an ordinary day today?
Unfortunately not, because also Ukrainian officials ask not to go to the church, with a tradition for a lot of regions in Ukraine. We expected that Russians can deliberately shell in on the church, and that's why it will be a very unusual Easter for Ukraine.
Oh, that's an awful thought, isn't it, that churches could become a target under these circumstances. Yeah. Look, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is apparently heading to Kiev today. How important is that meeting, not only in terms of the symbolism, but also in terms of the demands from President Zelensky to get more hard weaponry into the country?
I think it's very important and very right route in comparison with the route of General Secretary of UN, who firstly planned to go to Moscow and then only to Kiev. And we know that even the route in a diplomacy means a lot. That's why I think it's a huge mistake of General Secretary of UN that he firstly have to meet with Lavrov and Putin and only then with President Zelensky.
Why do you think he did it? Because it would be much more powerful message to Moscow if he actually came to see the damage and the terrible distress that's being caused by the war, if he went to see that first and then was able to tell Putin what was going on, having seen it with his own eyes.
I really don't understand it, because it's so obvious, even for me, who are not diplomats, that he first has to be in Kiev and only then go to Moscow. Maybe it's also a reflection that all this international system are in crisis.
It's a very strange situation. Look, Oleksandra, as always, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Many thanks. It is an extraordinary way to do it, isn't it?
It is. There must be some advice that he's been given, or